Another QB domino has fallen. Dylan Raiola is officially an Oregon Duck. Now, there's been a lot of uncertainty around Dante Moore and what he's going to do next. Now, if I'm Dante Moore, honestly, some people say, well, I would return. If I'm Dante Moore, I'm hitting the NFL draft. I'm the number 2 likely overall pick going to the Jets. And hopefully, like I said, you'll be able to get your incentives, your monies, and it can build around you. Now, unfortunately, in the career of Dylan Raiola, Dan Lanning, Oregon didn't get a chance to go against him with the last match coming out in 2017. But nonetheless, when Raiola's healthy, he is pretty much one of the better quarterbacks you can find. And his tenure in Nebraska, like I said, kind of not didn't lead them back to the mountaintop, but led them back to kind of relevancy, right? Led them back to being the team that people want to see, people want to tune into. Several big wins over the course of his career, being Cincinnati, and several others. Had pretty productive campaigns, in both seasons. Started as a true freshman under Matt Rule and continued to thrive. This year, unfortunately, got hurt. Ended up having, obviously, a fractured. Yeah, the injury was a fractured fibula. So, look, I don't know if his mobility will be the same. But, again, he's one of those guys that he's really good at improvising, right? Scrambling out of the pocket, throwing deep. He's not going to be a big guy that runs for a whole bunch of yards and do things like that, right? This is not the second coming of Lamar Jackson. This is more so a guy that can make plays for you, improvise, and hit guys on the heater. Now, Oregon's going to be obviously have an influx of talent to Corey Moore for another year. They have several other guys that will be coming back again. So this is a really good move for Dan Lanning in Oregon. The thing for Oregon is just winning those big games, right? You have the influx of talent. You have all the pieces you need, and Oregon will somehow lose games. You have to start winning these games now. You know what I'm saying? You're in that point if you're Dan Lanning, right? You're the right head coach for the job. We've seen your team win a whole bunch of games. Now can you win those big games and be prepared in doing so? But like I said, this is a really good pickup for them. I expect him to come in 3rd consecutive year, potentially even 4th for Dan Lanning, where he's got a guy out of the portal, Dante Moore from UCLA, to come over, play well for Oregon. Obviously, formerly at Auburn, Bo Nix coming over to Oregon, playing at a high level. I think he'll do the same with Dylan Raiola, and it's no different. He's done that. He's been able to identify in the portal who's the quarterback to get, who's the prospect to get to bring into Oregon, and every time they've had pretty good caliber season. At one point, Dante Moore was considered or was in that Heisman conversation, right? Again, tapered off towards the end of the year, but was in that conversation throughout most of the year. 30-plus touchdowns this year, only I think 5 or 6 interceptions. So he's been able to do that at a high level when landing quarterbacks. So this will be able to help him. Now is getting to these games and winning them. And I'm not going to lie, y'all, I am a little bit shocked to see Dylan Raiola go to Oregon. I thought he was going to go out east. But nonetheless, this does make sense because he was born out west. Obviously played a lot of his ball in Arizona before coming out east. But I thought he was going to stay out east and go probably a Louisville or some high-caliber ACC program. But to me, this makes sense for Dylan Raiola. You can get your coin, make your monies, and then you get to still be put on that big stage in the Big Ten. And you get to play high-quality football against prominent opponents, which is going to help your draft stock resume next year, especially if you have a cold year, and then potentially even hit the NFL draft in 2027. Makes a lot of sense for me.